What's going on, Geminites? It's your boy Gem Mint. It's Tuesday, November 26th. We have a couple of early release Marvel comics that we are going to review, and we're going to do it spoiler free, so stay tuned. Alright guys, so again, huge shout out to Marvel Comics. They sent us 4 comics today that come out this week. So we're going to drop this review a day early, and we'll talk about the issues. So, first of all, we have Scream, Curse of Carnage #1. So, this takes place after Absolute Carnage, and it doesn't really spoil anything, but it does mention something about Venom, which we haven't read yet. But, nothing spoilery. Anyway, this is written by Clay McLeod Chapman. This is, I guess Colin Bunn is no longer on the symbiote stuff. This was drawn by Chris Mooneyham, and it's Scream, but it's actually the character Andy, who used to be Mayhem from back in the Agent Venom run. So during Absolute Carnage, Donna Diego is dead, and Scream, the symbiote, was still in her dead body. She went into somebody else that ended up going into Andy. So this is kind of just a new storyline that follows Andy as Scream, and she's got Scream in her head. She's kind of trying to shake her off, but there is a threat happening, some kind of underwater symbiote tie possibly, and she's dealing with that. I really enjoyed this issue. I thought that the artwork was great. I thought the writing was well done, and it was interesting. We get a little backstory about Andy growing up without her mother and just her dad as a single father. Right now, Andy is homeless, and she's staying at Feast, which is a shelter run by Aunt May, Peter Parker's aunt, obviously. So overall, the issue was fun. It had some great artwork, like I said, and interesting enough story. I think it ends in such a way that we want to continue reading. So that's what we'll do. It looks like issue 2 comes out November of 2018, so we'll be sure to check that out. Next up, we have the first of 2 $20.99 tie-ins. This is Punisher 1, $20.99, and it's another one-shot, similar to how the Fantastic Four issue was. It doesn't really tie in, or it doesn't seem to tie into the actual storyline that's happening in the pages of Amazing Spider-Man, but we basically get a glimpse into the world of $20.99, and its Public Eye, which are kind of like the police officers, kind of like the Judge Dredd's, really, versus like the Thorites, which are these group of people that worship Thor. They look like they're from the medieval times, and that's how they act as well. And we get an interesting origin story on a new Punisher. I don't think it's Punisher 2099 that we remember from the 90s. I actually never followed that run. But it has to do with kind of like body cams on these Public Eye officers, and kind of showing how Alchemax might be tweaking those body cam videos to make it look like Public Eye is always in the right, when a lot of times they may not be. So that's all I'm going to really say about this issue, to give it like a broad plot. It's another one-shot. I don't think it's really a necessary read, but if you want to pick it up to collect all the $20.99 one-shots, by all means. This was written by Lonnie Nadler and Zach Thompson, art by Matt Horak and Eoin Marin. Next up, we have Conan $20.99 issue 1. Now, this was like the last one that I read, and I thought it was going to be Into the Least, but it was actually a really cool Conan story. Again, a one-shot that doesn't really tie into the Amazing Spider-Man run, but giving us a glimpse of Nueva York in $20.99. Conan is king, and apparently Conan could live for a long time. It kind of comes full circle in this issue on how he left the mountains of Samaria and wandered and became king, to where he ends at this issue, which was kind of a cool take on Conan and where he's going from here. It does end with a question mark, so I don't know if they'll maybe continue following this, because it was pretty interesting. Jerry Dugan, great writer. It flowed well. It looks like you have Roge Antonio as the artist, and the artwork was cool here. I was surprised that really none of these issues had anything to do with Doom of $20.99, even though the beginning of the issues mentioned that he's currently the one ruling. It looks like Conan was ruling. It said everything from the mountains of Mexico west, so Conan was ruling, but he seems to be a little bit mad. There's a sorceress stuck in his head that he talks to, but nobody else can see, so he looks a little bit crazy to the people. But I thought this was a fun issue. I enjoyed Thor. I enjoyed Conan. Last up from Tom Scioli, this is the Fantastic Four Grand Design issue number 2. I never read any of these Grand Design issues, and I flipped through this one. And basically, this kind of looks just like a retelling of Fantastic Four issues like 48 through, what was the Inhumans issue? I don't know. It goes through at least the Black Panther stuff, which is issue 52. So it's kind of funny, like how many panels they fit on each page. Maybe like it's like a news strip type of comic book. I didn't read this though because I didn't have issue 1, and I've already read the original story, so it really wasn't something I was interested in reading. But a lot of people are digging these Grand Design issues. It looks like it even ends during like the first Secret Wars stuff. You see like Spider-Man with the black suit and everything. So it looks like kind of like a newspaper type of material. Looks like there's a Treasury edition coming out of this later on. Not really my cup of tea. Like I would rather just read the original stuff in the omnibus that I have, but that's a quick look at Fantastic Four Grand Design. All right, guys, so that's the quick reviews for some advanced look at this week's comics. Tomorrow we will drop a non-spoiler review on everything that I picked up tomorrow, and we'll probably go live this weekend with a panel of guests to talk spoilers on this week's comics. So let me know what you guys think about these early looks in the comments below. Drop me a like before you leave, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel for more daily content. Stay minty fresh. Peace.